d'occuper le consulat de la Colombie. Il y a des gens qui sont en train de faire du piquage devant l'Institut économique de Montréal. Et dans ce même édifice se trouve le conseil du patronat. Cette action-là est organisée par un groupe de femmes parce qu'on sait que la hausse des frais de scolarité va affecter davantage les femmes. Les femmes gagnent moins que les hommes au niveau salarial. Nécessairement, ça va les affecter plus. C'est pour ça qu'on a décidé de s'organiser, d'occuper ces endroits-là. Pourquoi l'Institut économique de Montréal? Parce que cet institut-là propage les idées du néolibéralisme, les idées du patronat, fait l'éloge du capitalisme et de la marchandisation de l'éducation. Cet organisme-là a appelé à la hausse des frais de scolarité et à une plus grande privatisation du système d'éducation. Quant au consulat de la Colombie, pourquoi on a décidé d'occuper le consulat? C'est parce qu'il y a des étudiants colombiens et des étudiantes colombiennes qui ont lutté cet automne contre la privatisation de l'éducation en Colombie et ils ont réussi à faire retirer le projet de loi. Pour dénoncer la brutalité policière d'un étudiant colombien qui a été tué par les forces de l'ordre. On se voit dans les personnes aussi. Donc voilà, je vous remercie tout le monde. Okay, education is a right, and rights should be granted and not paid for. It's time to stand up and fight against the tuition hikes because it's the starting point of privatization. Privatizing education has devastating consequences for everyone in society, but most importantly, for those with lower income. And we have a clear example of this in South America, that's Chile. Before the military coup of 1973, all universities in Chile were funded by the government and students paid no fees. But during Pinochet's dictatorship, a sweeping educational reform was introduced. Private companies were given the chance to create their own educational institutions, and public funding of higher education was drastically reduced. More than 20 years have passed, but the effects of these reforms still remain. Having students and their families pay for their education has drastically limited access to university. Only 1 in 4 students from the lowest income families can attend. A university student in Chile needs an average $500 every month to pay for tuition, transportation, food and school supplies, and it doesn't include rent. However, 80% of Chilean households do not earn $400 per month per capita. Since students are responsible for paying for their own education, those coming from low-income families are forced to borrow money in the form of government loans or worse, and most commonly from private banks, whose interests are much higher. The government, just as here in the bank, imposes indebtedness onto students and their families, and students end up paying their credits decades after having graduated, if they graduate. And the dropout rates in Chile are incredibly high, reaching up to 72.5% in higher education. We don't want that in Quebec. But the students in Chile have woken up, and for the first time in history, the entire Chilean society has engaged in student mobilizations demanding free, quality education for all.